first name that comes to mind would be Phil Anselmo. You know, my vocal range is always, I always take care of the mids, you know, and Phil earlier on was quite inspirational when it comes to that. He just looked like a genuine badass, man, and I feel like that sort of was influential on me. Not that I'm a badass, I'm not a badass at all, but you know, when I do play music, I get into character. I get rid of all that negative energy on stage, and I feel like Phil made that shit relatable for me. You know what, man? Jamie Josta, he's like, Satisfaction is the Death of Desire. That was a very influential record for me. And the things that he said really inspire me sometimes to be perseverant and, you know, apply myself in a lot of difficult situations. And I feel like on those older recordings, his voice was a bit lower. And when I started Despised, you know, the appeal to having two vocalists is we can acknowledge the death metal aspect of our music with Steve doing the growls, the gutturals, the high-pitched screams, and then for me it was, you know, the mid vocals, and so Josta influenced me to do so. Probably Freddie Madball as well. His vocals on Set It Off, they're way lower. They sound really badass, and so the older Madball recordings, the older Hatebreed recordings, that's sort of what I went for, you know. Take that mid vocal but do it a little lower so it's you can apply it better to this type of music that we're playing, which ultimately has a fuck ton of blast beats, so it's not out of character either. Let's say Mike DeSalvo, he was the vocalist for Cryptopsy on Whisper Supremacy and on Indenial Beg, and he was like the first vocalist that had more of a like mid-range that I heard scream onto like very fast, extreme death metal, and I feel like that sort of like led the way and showed me that it was possible, you know, that we didn't have to stick to a certain rule, that death metal is just growls only, you know. So yeah, respect to those guys.
This is my final play, you death to me.